Ladies and gentlemen, it's now 6:06. We have begun the recording of the regular session of the Pflugerville Community Development Corporation. So at this time, we'll do the call to order. Item number one, and the opening will be our Pledge of Allegiance to. So if you will please stand with me, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States and to Texas.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor and protect this flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Our next item is 3, which is items of community interest. Executive Director, do we have any to present?
Good afternoon, board members. We have with us a new hire. His name is Adam Maxon. Adam Maxon brings about 9 years of IT marketing education, and a whole host of other talents. Traits that we are slowly unfolding and identifying. So we're excited to have Adam, as well as you who have welcome aboard. We're excited to have you, and I'll build it before that.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome. Yeah.
Welcome, Adam.
Glad you know how to.
Thank you.
We're very pleased to have you. And as we support our executive director and all those individuals that work directly for him, we welcome you to the team, and we look forward to learning a lot more in what you do and seeing it in action.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks.
And Adam is from Pflugerville.
Oh,
Oh,
all
nice.
right.
Excellent.
You have to go far. Our next item. Our next item is something that shouldn't be up here, but we're going to proceed. That is the farewell of Crystal Conley. Crystal is our business retention and workforce director. She has really been a huge, integral part of my transition here. And it probably would have been extremely chaotic had she not been here. So I am extremely grateful to you for the short time you gave me. But I am more than certain that you will flourish in any your future career journey. Life, period of life, to work with. Leave, but no, I'll see you at economic development organization function.
I know he keeps threatening me with that. He goes, "You're not going far."
I'm really excited for your future endeavor. Really thanks.
Well, I appreciate that. And this gives me a perfect opportunity to say thank you to this leadership. Some of you have been around a long time with me, Mayor, and some of you are newer to me, but the thing I'll cherish the most is all the connections and friendships I've made in this community. I've been here almost 25 years now. And so I have a big love for Pflugerville and for this organization, Jerry, because the leadership before you, and you included, gave me the opportunity to reskill and upskill. And without that, which is why I'm very passionate about workforce development and entrepreneurship, without that, I wouldn't be able to take that next step in leadership. So I really appreciate this organization. I appreciate the city manager, the assistant city managers who have all taught me many lessons along the way and supported me and encouraged me as well. And then my colleagues and staff, over the last 8 years, they have been a joy to work with, and I really loved being here. And I'm not going far. I'll just be up the road in Georgetown, and hopefully doing great things there. And I look forward to the great things you guys are doing here. So thank you.
Well, Crystal, thank you very much for your service. I know you've been down this path with us a long, long way. Thank you. And you were here in the beginning of time as Councilman White was, and where we began with almost nothing in terms of the Economic Development Court. Well, we did start with nothing. Let me just say that. And so the leadership from the beginning and moving forward with you, as well as part of the journey, has brought us to this point in time where we're in the best place we can be in terms of economic development. In spite of all the challenges, all the hiccups that have come and gone, I wish you well with your new venture endeavor, and I know you'll do amazing. I'll just share one quote in terms of your economic development future. You got to lose money to make money.
Mayor, I remember that. That is the one thing I remember. Thank you
I'm gonna
guys
need
so
you to give me
much.
the backstory on that tomorrow.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. See you
Well,
around. Oh,
before you leave,
okay.
there's something
Watch.
there's something I've always said that I am a believer that when people leave, I don't know why I do this, but when people leave, I believe that they also get a cake. Now, don't ask me why. One of my mentors actually started this tradition. I think I just kind of kept it going, but we do have something. for you.
Oh, that's sweet. Thanks, guys. Well, and when anybody's ever sat around me or needs an ear, I bring them tea. So I think it's the same thing. We have a hot cup of tea and we chat about it. So
I wasn't expecting that about this cake.
I'll share.
Jerry has the cake,
Yes.
Thanks, Jerry.
but as a presentation for you,
Oh, lovely. You mind if I hold it up?
please.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. That's very good.
It says, recognizing your outstanding contributions, Crystal Conley, CFD, and thank you all because you all helped me get that CFD. I appreciate that. Thank you for your dedication and the positive impact you've made. Congratulations on your promotion, and we wish you continued success in this exciting new chapter. PCDC, April 16th. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
And you're good.
Thanks, Jerry.
And as Crystal, as you take the cake,
Literally.
thank you, somebody else caught it,
Um,
as well as the plaque that I hope you place somewhere where you can always glance at it, kind of remember what all occurred here from the standpoint of your contributions. But the key thing is I also had the ability or position, I guess, would be different ways, both sitting in the back of the room and different places, to see how you were engaging in your role and how you were continually making yourself better. So it is with almost, I'm pleased actually for your next step, because other individuals are going to see how much you've grown in the role while you were here, but also how valuable you will be to them, because as they interviewed you, they spent time with you. Hopefully they saw some of the things that we see every day. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Doral. I appreciate it.
So our next item, this sorry. Oh, yes.
Do you have any other items?
Oh, we do.
Three?
We
Okay.
do. This next item is more so an announcement. We're continuing to identify our partners, meet up with them, build relationships with them, and identify ways to network and collaborate. This is for Small Business Week. This is an appreciation week that occurs every first week of May. And so we're hosting, along with the Pflugerville Chamber of Commerce, a coffee on first. So it's going to be at West Pecan Coffee and Beer. No, there will not be beer at 7:30 in the morning. But we are going to be providing free drip coffee to all who attend. And this is a great opportunity to get small businesses out, entrepreneurs, creatives, civic leaders, community members, elected officials, city and PCDC staff. So great opportunity to come and network and just kind of celebrate and champion small businesses. A lot of people don't know this, but small businesses are any organization that has 500 employees or less. So over 80-something% of the businesses in the United States is a small business. So this is this is the backbone of our communities, is our small businesses. So a great opportunity to come network and just get a free cup of coffee. Also, Economic Development Week, which is the following week. Do not ask me why they put them back to back. But we're having Economic Development Week, and that's going to be May the 12th through the 16th. We're having 3 opportunities to really celebrate that. Tuesday is going to be Biz and Bites, and that's going to be at Typhoon, Texas in their conference center, conference room. Then there's going to be on the 15th is going to be an entrepreneur lunch and learn, which is going to be here in this room. But before that, Tuesday night, I'm sorry I didn't share that. Tuesday night, we're going to have the proclamation is going to be read at the council meeting for Economic Development Week. And then as we go to the Business First, which is a tariff unplugged conversation. And no, we're not going to be going around unplugging tariffs. It's just a really catchy name that we use to promote and market. But it's a discussion about tariffs. It is not a discussion on, it will be a discussion on the topic of tariffs in a very non-partisan manner. We just want to provide businesses with information so that they will know how they need to continue to proceed in business during this time period and beyond. So I want to make sure that I'm very clear on that. We are being very intentional as we look at who the speakers are going to be to ensure that the message is about the actual tariff situation and then what the outcomes and how it is best to move as a business. Everybody else can go on different news media platforms and do the positioning. We're wanting to make sure we help our businesses. Today, we opened up the Red News. I received a phone call or an email wanting to talk about PCDC, economic development that's going on in Pflugerville. And from that came this article that is in the Red News discussing that Pflugerville is a prime destination for businesses. We are wanting to get into media outlets that are more focused here. When I said in my interview, I heard from many of you state, hey, I think we do really well at pushing ourselves out on the national stage through stories and through media, but we need to let folks, especially the developers and the local investors, know that this is a community that they should be paying attention to and that they should be bringing their dollars to. And Red News is one of the largest magazines that reach out to commercial developers throughout this state of Texas and beyond. So great article. We'll make sure that we share that link with you so that you can go and look at it and read about just how we're trying to promote what's taking place here in Pflugerville. It even highlights what the city has done, the investment that has been made to public infrastructure, and how city staff has been really trying to engage and move those projects along in order to prepare for the future, and how we're fortunate to have leadership that understands that need in order for us to be able to meet those challenges in the future. Oh, good. That's the last one.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you.
Item 4, public comment. In accordance with the Texas Attorney General's opinion, any public comment that is made on an item that is not on the published final agenda will only be heard by the PCDC board. No formal action, discussion, deliberation, or comment will be made by the PCDC board. Each person providing public comment will be limited to 3 minutes. Do we have any individual?
Office received no request for public comment.
We received notice. Having none, we'll move to item 5, regular meeting. The first item on the agenda is 5A, 2025-0344. Discuss and consider action to approve the PCDC March 26, 2025 regular meeting minutes. Before we move on this item, in reviewing the minutes, I did notice as far as the attendees that Board Member Thompson was listed as present. However, he was absent that day, and there were no other changes that I identified in the minutes. So I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Second that motion.
We have a motion and second. Adam, when we go around, we'll just call Adam, aye.
Aye.
Victor, aye.
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 Aye. 5 ayes. 0. Moving on. Item 5B, 2025-0345, discuss and consider action to accept the FY25 Q2 financial reports. Tracy.
Good evening. So yes, this is the financials as of the end of March. And right now, total revenue, we are at 45% of budget. Sales tax being at 59%, which is very strong. Interest income is coming down a little bit under our budget, which is kind of expected. It's a market that's hard to pinpoint, and we have lost a little bit of movement there. So just wanted to remind you that the other revenue is our water lease income, and so we don't see that till September. It'll be in the fourth quarter. On the expense side, we're at 17% of budget. Other reminders are debt is not paid till the fourth quarter. Capital outlay will probably start ramping up in the third quarter with the bid for the 2 projects that you talked about at your last meeting, and the development agreements also will be in the fourth quarter. Address any questions you might have.
Questions?
No.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Okay. Who's second? Oscar? Okay. Victor made the motion. Oscar made the second. We'll go around and take a vote. Mark, I'll start with you.
Aye.
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 So we're now at 6-0 vote. At this point, I'm going to move to item 5D, as D is in David, and then we'll go back to item 5C. Sorry about that, Crystal.
Good afternoon, board. Oh, sorry.
I'll announce the meeting. Okay, so it's item 5D is 2025-0342, discussion regarding the PCDC FY26 proposed budget.
Good afternoon, board members. I'm going to run through this as quickly as I can. Let's see how we can go. Next slide, please. Oh, okay. All right. Let's scroll through here. Everybody has this in their okay, because I want to make sure. If everybody can just scroll up to page 30. Oh. Page 39 on your tablet, page 39. And then if you go up to the next slide, the next page, you'll see we wanted to lay out, and we really do thank Tracy and her team for assisting with this along with Crystal on getting the incentives and obligations report. Wanted to show and kind of have this spread out so that everyone can see what our obligations are over the next several years. And so you'll see the projects from 2015 to 2037 at the top. Are we all on the same page?
No,
I'm not sure.
I think I'm still trying to open it up.
I think you're on your incentives and obligations.
If you,
Yes.
Oh, come
38.
on. I want to open.
Let me help.
Oh, on that, oh, let's continue down. I got you. I'm used to it just being the
I know.
agenda.
There you go. All the way up. Right here. There.
Are you plugged in?
Yeah. Okay. Adam? All right. So as you can see on this first slide here, this is a description of what our incentives and obligations report is for. Literally, these projects are from 2015 to 2037. We wanted to make sure that everyone had a chance to be able to see those projects, and you can see that some of them fall off in commitments by 2027 for the most part, and then there are some that still continue on. And then you come down into the next line item, which is our Cortec lease agreement for PCDC. Currently, our contract does not end until 2027. It does give us the option to renew if that's something that the board desires, but at the moment, 2027 is the end of our term of our lease. And then if you go down here and look at debt liabilities, something that we discussed at the work session with the council and the PCDC board, when we discussed and heard from several council members the desire for there to be a commitment from this body to fund park projects and additional park projects. Something that I take onus of this because this is definitely something that I should have been able to share is that this body has done a huge commitment over the years, somewhere around $1.6 million in parks and recs. But on top of that, as you can see in here, when we talk about the Monarch project, we're talking about at least the first 3 to 4 years alone is somewhere around a $4 to $3 million investment into parks and recreations. So I think one of the main things that we struggle with is really telling our story of telling the commitment that we have to Parks and Recreations and to this community. That is one of the unique things about this organization, is that it's not completely driven towards just spec buildings or economic development types of projects, but it's also a community organization as well, which does speak to that commitment of the Monarch project.
And I'll say that I didn't feel that the request for PCDC to engage in more parks projects was universal, or it wasn't universally felt on council. So it's just my opinion.
I agree.
So
Yeah, I
think
just
we're
think I
doing
didn't
quite
do a
bit.
good job at saying.
No, I think we did. Yeah, we're done quite.
But these are the projects. I just wanted you guys to be able to see the debt liabilities and see what we're going to be responsible for over the next, I mean, we're talking all the way into 2040 for some of them, but just wanted to, so that as we're moving forward each year, that we're making conscious decisions on, well, not we, that the board is being empowered to make conscious decisions on how best to move forward with the budget. And so in the next slide, you'll see in the next slide, the next portion, you'll see where it talks about infrastructure projects, and you'll see Helios, Costco, the water park loan payment, Impact Way, land acquisition and development. You'll see TxDOT, the retail infrastructure possible in the 52 acres. That's the cash portion of the purchase. So as we go to the, one of the things I wanted everybody to see is those, how much are we looking at as it relates to the incentives and obligations report. And we're obligated somewhere around $109 million, which is phenomenal when it comes to how many projects this organization is able to touch at one time. I think that's really telling, because most communities aren't able to have this type of reach as it relates to their funding sources. I will not go line item by line item on this next slide. This next page, I am going to only talk about the things that if I were sitting in your shoes, I would have a heart attack if the director did not express or discuss it. And so one of the things, the areas that I definitely would want to show, a lot of the things that you see that are in purple is where the changes are. So I wanted to be very transparent based off of what I've heard from this board, based off of what I heard from the council during the work session. We sat down, put numbers together, then came back and met with a committee. We definitely want to take this time to thank our board president, White, our board member Mitchell, and board member Lee for sitting in on that meeting and reviewing those numbers, getting a really deep dive into where we are and where we are possibly headed. And so the newest change, I guess you can say, or the most recent proposed change, has been the personnel line item. We don't know the actual number. We are working with PNC on job descriptions. That then has to move to finance, and finance has to then identify what all of those numbers in the green section will be. But we wanted to put a number there that we felt maybe would give us some kind of a wiggle room, that it shouldn't be any higher. And if it is higher than that, then we're able to have that conversation with this body before moving forward. If you look at the operating expenses, a lot of these are nominal, but there's still increases. Perfect example, when we talk about recruitment, when we talk about communications, and I will give you a really quick synopsis of what I mean when I say communications. When we go to post items on our Facebook or our social media page, or we go to tell the story of Pflugerville, why businesses are choosing this community, we are having to build that database of current media items in order to be able to create those marketable pieces. And so we're making a commitment to being able to tell the story of this organization as well as this community by pretty much creating our own database of information and our own database of B-roll, photos, images, actual videos, creating content. Those types of things will and can happen underneath this proposed line item budget. Let me see, make sure I want to.
Jerry, what is the purple again? You said something.
The purple is where increases occurred.
Occurred or will occur?
Well, occurred in the draft budget.
Okay.
You as the body decides whether or not it'll actually happen. This is really just draft. This is not for certain because this body has to convene and deliberate over it. Make sure. Okay. These are the three areas that I think are probably going to be the biggest topic in this moment. And those three areas are, we looked at the SEDS document. We saw that the SEDS document called for us to move forward on Innovation Center, biomedical, and because of our new purchase of Greenfield, we also put a line item in there for Greenfield development. Those three line items, we earmarked $1 million apiece in those three areas. That does not say that we're going to spend all of that money in those three areas, but that is those are the three areas that the body as a whole approved the SEDS document, and we put monies in those line items in order to pursue those initiatives. And so again, it's the Innovation Center, which has $1 million in that line item. The biomedical has $1 million in that line item, and Greenfield Development has $1 million in that line item. Now, as it relates to the biomedical, just being extremely transparent, if you ask me to put my life on the line for whether or not biomedical is the direction that this organization should go in, I couldn't do it, right? I need to know more before we make that type of commitment. And so that line item is there, but it is also the ability for us to go out and do some due diligence and study these topics to make sure that we are doing what we should do. And it's not going to take $1 million to do that, right? But let's say we get out there and we find out that there is a robust market for us to, play in as it relates to that. This line item allows us to be able to move forward in generating that as well. So if we recognize that it's a horrible idea and that the market has changed since the SEDS document was formed, we can then come back to this body, provide the report that says, based off of industry professionals, this is not something that we should pursue. It causes us to be able to have a deeper conversation on the other items that we can fund from this particular line item, which we would have to go through probably some type of a financial budget amendment through Trace's office, but this body needs to be aware of that. So I wanted to make sure that I felt like if I was sitting in your space, those are the three main items that I would probably want to know about, aside from all the other items, because the other items are really kind of minute when you compare these three items here. So.
And the first two could be incorporated within Project Greenfield, my thinking.
Could be.
It's possible.
It's possible.
I mean, you're talking about, we don't know what the market is. I mean, so does that mean we need to put out a, what's it? RFQ. I kept wanting to say RFP, but yeah, an RFQ to find out what the market.
That would be a part of the process. So let's say Magic One occurs and we're in September and this line item is approved. We would then go out like we did for the SEDS document. We went out and selected a consultant to do a study for us, the Comprehensive Economic Development Study.
Mm-hmm.
most communities take the SEDS document and says, okay, this is the high level part. Now you've told us to go in and do some more intricate detailed things. Now let's study what that looks like and then how can we fast track what comes out of that.
Right.
And so that is you've given us the high level. Now because it's easy for me to sit back as a consultant and say, oh, you should do life science, biomedical, advanced manufacturing, and aerospace. Well, it's called target market, right? So it's what you should be targeting based off of what's going on in the region.
Anything different is really putting the cart before the horse. So I
Yes.
want to
So
make sure
Jerry,
we're
let me
on
ask you,
that.
those three line items, the biomedical, the innovation and Greenfield, are you projecting those in the 2025 budget or 2026?
2026. This is for the upcoming budget.
So we're not going to look at Greenfield for 2026?
No, we are, but that conversation comes from the slides for the Project Greenfield. Yes. Not to defer, but I wanted to make sure I did answer it.
Well,
So,
I'm
yeah.
missing a piece, but that's fine. I'll wait till executive session.
Any comments on the budget, on the proposed,
Hold on.
So let me also point out, because I think this is important as well. We are getting close to the minimum fund balance that we are to maintain by the PCDC board, and it's calculated 25% of all expenses. So the fund balance that we should maintain is like 5.6. And so we would be extremely close as it relates to that number, but we are not, we're not in that number, right? But we're close. So we are at where we should be, so to speak.
I'm sorry.
We can't go any further is what I'm essentially saying.
So you said it's 5.6. Do you know where we're at right now?
4.6 or
Crystal?
2 point.
Can you,
Year to date it says 2.4, correct?
the ending balance, the fund balance that we looked at the other day, we were talking about how the policy says to us that we should not go beyond.
We were just talking about that, so she'll.
So it should be operating, but you have to consider what should be included in operating.
Correct.
That's operating because it's already committed to your economic incentives are operating. There's very little in this budget that wouldn't be, other than usually capital is taken out.
Right.
My only concern would be a balanced budget, meaning, I mean, like, normally if you're going to go over what revenue you're bringing in, then you're using basically one-time funds, whereas this budget is going over reoccurring. So just that balance of reoccurring revenue over reoccurring expenditures.
Now,
That would
can I
be
ask a
my only
question?
concern.
Would this be the first year that we've gone against not having a balanced budget, or have we had?
So we've specifically called out what we were going over for. So
Gotcha.
we were drawing down fund balance for specific capital projects, but not for covering operating expenditures.
So, great point. The three areas that I want to highlight that are pretty much the heavy hitters are the Innovation Center, the biomedical, and the Greenfield development. Those are that's $3 million by itself.
That leaves you with 7 million.
Correct. And that 7 million is also roadway projects, along with the uptick in the employment area. So those are the three kind of caveats that we're talking about here. We have the 3 million for the SEDS projects. We have the $7 million for the road projects. And we have what I'm going to guesstimate is probably an additional $300,000 for the employee line item. So that is where I think the real conversation needs to occur. Like, are we wanting to pursue the 3 initiatives for $1 million apiece? Are we wanting to pursue all of the staff in the next budget, or do we want to have a conversation that says, well, Jerry, maybe we should do 1 staff member or 2 staff members in addition to the next budget? Or do we want to also say, hey, Jerry, maybe, well, we're already committed to the road projects. Those are happening. I mean, there's nothing we can do about those. But that's kind of what I'm seeking guidance on as we move forward with this budget from this body. What is it that kind of direction are you wanting to see us go in as it relates to kind of some of those funding pots? Thank you, Tracy.
Well, the 3 areas that we have are, those are flexible, right? We don't have to do something with those, each one of those $1 million projects, because right now we don't have anything at this point, right? So.
Or spend half.
Hmm?
Or spend 500 rather than.
Yeah, we could reduce it, right? We could reduce it or pick one. And,
Well, I think the $1 million is, I don't know how you arrived at $1 million. Or the committee did, I guess. I mean, I mean, if it's just
just a ballpark.
ballpark number, then I think we have some room to play.
Yeah. There's
There's a ballpark number.
So don't let the million.
And that's what we discussed in the working session as well. This is just it's a working number. We had to put something in there, so that's the working number.
So is this budget coming back to us or what?
Yes.
Tonight?
No.
No,
this
not
is just a
tonight.
discussion.
This is
on the-
discussion. Just want to.
not Basically giving us an opportunity to digest the numbers as they're starting to come together.
Who knows? Who knows? Maybe tax revenue goes up and it's not an issue. So, hey,
Is this
I would
part in our packet?
say,
It was sent to us in our packet?
Yes.
See, I didn't know to keep scrolling. Once I got to the end of the
Oh.
agenda, I stopped right there and was like, oh.
well, I was gonna make this comment earlier and, you know, I think the country's been nervous about, the economy and a number of things. I know, I watch my 401k daily, which I shouldn't. But, you know, we were driving back from Austin the other day and, well, this was just in Austin, is that, drove by, over by Howard Lane in that big shopping center that's really gone downhill. There's 3 restaurants have gone out of business. And, I know that for Pflugerville, it's not a major thing. The little auto parts place on 685 is all shuttered up. And so I think that as we move forward, I think we have to be cautious and certainly mindful of what areas we step into because we don't want them to crash on us. So.
yeah, but I think also at the same time, others that want to invest, they're going to have that same thing, right? They're going to be cautious. Everybody else is. So I think it's
Yeah.
both parties are going to be doing the same thing unless it's at a real advantage to us. That, you know, we're not going to take unknown, even though I know you got to lose money to make money, but
Yeah.
you know, still have to calculate that.
That's where that quote comes from there.
I gotta use that one.
Crystal later, where did that quote come from? That's what, it came from you?
No, the quote was from our first economic development.
Words you won't hear
But
me?
he did a pretty bang up job, you know what I'm talking about. That's why we have Typhoon Texas. That was a money loser right there. But it's been a good partner.
Any other comments? Adam, Oscar, you have anything?
I mean, really nothing. I mean, I'm excited to see just that increase in staff. You know, I'm going to, maybe more positive, the quote, you know, you got to spend money to make money versus lose money. So, you know, I'm hoping that added firepower for you. I mean, look, I see it in professional development, you know, I see it in, yeah, I mean, just like general professional development and recruitment. You know, I think hopefully that added staff will allow PCDC to scale, you know, a lot quicker so we can accomplish our SEDS goals. So that's what I'm particularly excited about. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with Adam. I wish Crystal was still staying. So lose a lot of knowledge and experience behind that wheel. So.
You have the feedback that you were seeking?
I think I do. Look, I will say this. I think the Greenfield development line item, at best, I would probably say if we had to reduce it, I would say somewhere around maybe $700,000. That the Greenfield project, I think, is, and we'll get to that. I don't want to labor in that too much without going through the presentation. But the other areas, maybe we can get down a little bit in those areas as well. I think the biomedical is probably the area that we can probably cut more than anything. So I think we can play with the numbers a little bit, but however.
Innovation and biomedical are kind of abstract to me, but Greenfield is a given.
Yeah.
I know what you're looking at when you come to like innovation and biomedical. So it's good that at least we have it in there versus like 3 months down the road going, oh, I need to add, you know, I need to take money out of the fund balance. So,
Yeah.
I mean, better to start with a giant budget and cut
I
it.
mean, if
cut
we
it
have a
down.
biomedical that's interested and ready to go, we got 100,000 square feet in our backyard. Hey, Crystal, do they own the building or do we own the building?
No, we don't own the building.
Okay.
The developer does, but
they don't.
I'm sure he'd be looking for a new tenant. Right now, he's losing money.
Have any further discussion on item 5D? All right, I'll close the item and we will move back to item 5C. And that'll be,
And you can scroll up if you want to follow it.
Is that in here?
Yes, just scroll the other way. Yeah.
this is
Other
item
way.
5C
Go back the other way.
2025-0343, presentation and update regarding
Go down.
SEDS 3.0.
Good evening, Crystal Conley, Business Retention Workforce Development. As you all know, we had our Community Economic Development Strategy 3.0 approved late last spring, just before the summer. And then we had some transitions. So we really started on attacking those initiatives in July. So today I'd like to give you a little bit of an update of where we are on our strategic initiatives. In your packet, you will see all the tasks. There's 217 of them. And then in year one, there's like 60 something. So you'll see all the tasks and how we have affected each one. I'm not going to go through all of those. There's plenty of information there for you to look at. But what I will tell you is that there's three overarching goals in the SEDS. One is the business recruitment and retention goals. And you can see those there. They were to continue to pursue relocation, purchase key land, incentivize companies, support an innovation and entrepreneur center, and develop wet lab or biomedical type spaces. And those are in the SEDS document. The second goal was talent and education, which was to launch barriers to work initiatives, develop comprehensive career readiness, grow momentum in short term, and learn, training opportunities, building support for entrepreneurship and startups, recruiting a four-year university partner, and a partner to establish adult education. And then our final goal of SEDS was quality of life. So further economic development recruitment practices, fund park improvements, invest in mixed-use developments, create a unique brand, and incorporate Pflugerville's unique story. So we have 217 total goals over the 3 years. We really started in July, so we have till, July, at the end of probably December 2027, July 2027, something like that. And right now, we've completed 11 of those goals. You'll see them in your packet. You can peruse those later. We have 21 that are ongoing, and we have 21 that are underway. The difference between ongoing and underway is, underway, we've just started to research it or kind of touch on it. Ongoing means we've done it. It's something we're going to continue to do over the next 3 years during the SEDS. So we're in it on those. And then, of course, completed means it was sort of a one-time task. For example, the workforce study. That was in SEDS. We've completed the workforce study, and now we're tracking that study as a separate strategic document. And then the total for the year that we've touched so far is 53. So just a couple of highlights that I thought were pretty interesting out of that SEDS document you have. So under the recruitment and retention, we purchased the 52 acres of land, right? It said purchase land near important corridors. We know 973 is an important corridor, but also 130 is. So we purchased land there. We started our phase 4, final phase of the road extension for Impact Way so that we can continue to build build south here in the park, as is a SEDS requirement or task. And so we've begun that process, and it actually goes to bid in May, along with Helios. In talent and education, a couple of the things that we've done there is we launched the entrepreneur program. We launched an entrepreneur hub. We launched a digital platform to accelerate entrepreneurs, and we hosted our first ever Venture Week. So we're really excited about talent and education. Also, we did the workforce study, which we have turned into tasks, just similar to SEDS, and you will get a report on that soon as well. And one of the things out of talent and education is we just recently funded the biomedical workforce, we're approved to fund the biomedical surgical instrument preparation certification equipment for the school district. We should hear on that this month or May for the final approval from Texas Workforce Commission, and then we'll go out and purchase that equipment. And then quality of life, as you all know, we funded $600,000 for the park infrastructure in downtown East. We also worked with Retail Strategies to land Gin Barbecue. And then we had a $4 million annual commitment for the rec center, the Multi-Gen Monarch. So those are just a couple of the highlights. Peruse those. If you have any questions about any of those SEDS items, just give Jerry a call because I won't be here.
Well, they're going to ask you now.
Jerry, be happy to help you. But we'll take any questions tonight. That's all I have for you.
So regarding the continuation of the SEDS, with what we've already done, what we're tracking, what we're looking at, who's assigned to that in what organization?
You looked at the right person, because it falls into my lap right now, but I've received, we have a contingency plan that we've set up that goes through the process of downloading 8 years of what.
Wait a minute, I'm saying, you're going to be handling
Yes.
all of this?
Yes,
Plus everything else you're doing?
yes, which is why her job is posted tomorrow. Yes.
I'm just saying, you need to hurry up and hire some.
Well, her job is posted tomorrow.
You shouldn't be doing it.
Right. Yeah, her job is posted tomorrow, so we've had that conversation already. Yeah, so I agree with you, concur with you and everything
Well, I'm
else.
just saying, if we're on the timeline that we're talking about 2027, that even a 3 to 6 month gap puts us 35.
3 to 6.
Okay, that's all.
I,
Crystal, great job.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for that update. That completes that presentation. We're now moving into item 5E, and this is our executive session. E25-0346. First is executive session item deliberation in accordance with sections 551.071 and 551.072 087 of the Texas Government Code to discuss economic development negotiations and financial information received from businesses expanding or relocating in the city of Pflugerville and to seek legal advice regarding such projects, incentives, and negotiations, including projects Greenfield, Rushmore Mountain, TML, and Listen. Item 2, executive session, item 551.071, consultation with attorney regarding pending litigation of 15508 Impact Way LLC, the Pflugerville Community Development Corporation et al., case number 1-23-CV-00914, U.S. District Court for the Western District of Texas. And 3, executive session item, deliberations in accordance with sections 551.072 of the Texas Government Code to discuss the sale, purchase, or lease of real property, and that will be Project Listen. We are now in executive session. We have returned from executive session. No action was taken. Adam had to leave at 8 p.m. from the executive session. Otherwise, all members who entered the executive session continued. We are now moving to the next item, 6A, which is regular session item 2025-0347, open session item, discuss and consider action on executive session items as needed. I propose a motion regarding Project Greenfield that for the executive director, we direct you to move forward in commissioning market analysis for Project Greenfield, to work on that from the standpoint of the lead and to be work in collaboration with the city manager's designee from the city staff standpoint on beginning the process of moving this forward.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Oscar, need a second.
Aye.
Victor's aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 5-0. We are now adjourned.